My fellow citizens, I stand here today together with my two great friends to continue the definitive One Piece backstories tier list.
Let's start with Brook. His story is boring, so put him in D tier and let's move on to the next one.
What do you mean, Trump? His story carried thriller bark on its back.
His story is about a cool little song and a whale.
Barack, he didn't know Laboon beforehand, so his emotional impact is expected to be smaller.
It's a whale. Why would I care about a fucking whale?
Shut up, Trump. It's not just any whale, it's Laboon. Brooks' pass goes to B tier and we go to the next one.
The next one is Sabo, D tier. His story is communist apology.
Not every work talking about inequality and poverty is communist apology.
In fact, One Piece seems to me to be a much more libertarian work. It is entirely focused on criminals wanting to achieve their individual dreams. The anime's villain is literally the world government and the spiritual power. Haki means ambition.
Do any characters evade taxes like me?
I've never seen a pirate pay taxes. Furthermore, I remember 2 times that tax was villainized. There was the Celestial Tribute and the Arlong Tribute.
One Piece is not truly anarchist because it shows that there are virtuous monarchs. I don't even know if there are relevant anarchist philosophers within Japanese culture. Libertarianism is a typically Western philosophy, and perhaps Oda never came into contact with it. However, it is natural that a work of pirates who are enemies of the government, fighting for their dreams and ambitions, will align very well with libertarian ideals.
Hey, next is Law, my favorite character. We can put Sabo in tier B and move on to the next one.
That's fine with me. I don't have much to say about him either.
Next is Trafalgar D. Waterlaw. First of all, Trump didn't cry watching Robin's past, but he cried watching Law's past.
Shut up, Biden. I didn't cry.
Yes, you cried, Donnie.
Having wet eyes is different from crying.
If a tear falls, it's crying.
Fuck you two. Let me explain. In Robin's past, I was prepared for anything. But when Rocinante said that the stab wound he received hadn't hurt at all because he knew that the one who was suffering was Law, God in heaven. I didn't expect that. The scene caught me off guard, you know?
Don't worry, Donnie. I won't judge you.
But I will judge you, crybaby.
Anyway, I don't know if Oda thought about this when he created the character, but I believe that Rocinante embodies the virtues of Christ very well. One of the most iconic moments in the Gospels is when Jesus says during the crucifixion, "Forgive them, Father. They don't know what they're doing." This phrase has a high symbolic value because it shows that even though he was tortured, Jesus was still concerned about the good of those who harmed him. Rocinante had good reasons to hate Law. After all, he was almost murdered. But instead, he was sad to see that boy's suffering. This is a perfect manifestation of the real meaning of loving your neighbor and your enemy.
Oda's writing is very exaggerated in this scene that was good because Rocinante became almost an archetype of a kind and virtuous man. I would say he is a very inspiring character. However, these exaggerations bother me sometimes. As Barack said before, Rocinante throwing Law out of the window was very stupid.
The idea is that Rocinante wanted to prevent Law from joining the Don Quixote family, perhaps because One Piece is a weekly manga. Oda finds himself obliged to create striking scenes so that each chapter is well evaluated. If I'm not mistaken, Jump has a weekly voting system, so the authors want each individual chapter to have the highest rating possible, even if this compromises the work as a whole in the long run.
Even so, this story had multiple emotional peaks, and Law is my favorite character, then SS tier.
His past episodes were so good that I thought it might be worth watching several mediocre episodes of One Piece just to have the opportunity to watch an amazing episode like this.
I'm liking your line of reasoning, Trump. Become a One Piece fan with us. This work will be engraved in your heart. But, correcting, One Piece doesn't have mediocre episodes. It just has episodes of preparation and construction of incredible scenes in the future.
It's very difficult to produce a weekly manga and always make high-level chapters, so in fact, Oda makes several average chapters. The anime is even worse when trying to stall to maintain a distance from the events of the manga.
My suggestion is that you read the manga. It has a much better rhythm. Going back to the tier list, Law wins the SS tier. Next is Kairos' past.
I didn't watch this one.
It's just that his past was cut into several episodes. The scenes were also repeated several times just to make the anime slower.
One interesting thing about his background is that it deals with one of the fundamental themes of fatherhood. Traditionally, mothers are closer to their children, while fathers distance themselves a little due to the obligation to work and provide for the family. After being turned into a doll, he ended up suffering from an emotional distance from his daughter since she didn't remember him. But even so, he always continued to sacrifice himself for her and protect her. This concept of having to keep a distance from your children is something that many parents face, whether because some have to dedicate a lot of time to work or because they have separated from their wives.
This was something I had to face during the presidency. I started my term all jovial and left there like a gray old man. Being president of a country is extremely stressful and greatly limits the time you can spend with your family.
I completely agree. I have much more fun now watching anime and recording videos with you than I did when I was still president. Having free time is really good.
You're still president, Joe.
Oh, that's right anyway. For me, Kairos Past easily enters Tier A. It's a very beautiful story about paternal love and sacrifice.
Next up is Senor Pink. This is my favorite character. His story is really cool. Obama, you convinced me to watch One Piece when you talked about its story in the live action video.
Nice. The cool thing about Senor Pink is that he is a totally secondary character. He was one of the dozens of antagonists in Dressrosa. Nobody expected him to have such a cool backstory.
I have a theory that Oda made a bet with his assistants that he could make any character awesome no matter how ridiculous he was. His assistants created a pot-bellied guy dressed as a baby, Senor Pink.
And Oda won the bet because he is a god among men.
I see that Oda really has fun writing One Piece. The wide variety of bizarre characters the series offers are a reflection of what Oda's imagination finds fun. Senor Pink is a fusion of Oda's genius and technique with his desire to create comical characters.
As he worked his whole life on this work, I'm happy that he has fun with it.
He has so much fun, I bet Oda reads One Piece 18+ comics.
I'm sure so, because in an SBS he...
Senor Pink enters the SS tier. The next character is Odin.
I found his backstory very weak because...
Shut up, Trump. You are not intellectually capable of analyzing Odin's past.
Suck my dick, Obama.
Calm down. What Obama means is that Odin's past also works on the adventure of Roger, the Pirate King, so only someone who watched the complete series can appreciate his story.
Oda tried to replicate some of Senor Pink's concepts by making Odin humiliate himself in the dances. But the impact is much weaker since we already know in advance that he is not dancing because he is whole. It having to withstand being burned in oil also doesn't have much of an impact. His extreme strength dehumanizes him, making it more difficult to empathize with him. A mother sacrificing herself for her daughters like Belmer is something that has a strong emotional appeal because we can imagine it happening in the real world. But a man enduring being burned for an hour is not imaginable, and therefore much more difficult to have an emotional impact on.
Biden, would you put Odin's story in S tier?
For me, S tier is fair because...
Great. I would also put him in the S tier, fuck Trump's opinion, democracy 1.
I think we've reached the end of the tier list. I'm not as much of a fan of One Piece as Barack. For me, most of the episodes are of average quality. However, One Piece's high points are so incredible that I overlook all of its flaws. These backstories contain most of the incredible scenes that this anime offered. I am grateful to have followed this great work.
For me, One Piece has two major themes that are represented by the two greatest pirates in its history. Roger represents the theme of dreams, as his treasure is the biggest dream in piracy. The other great pirate was Whitebeard, who wasn't interested in getting One Piece. Instead, he only cared about something else. What did he care about, Biden?
In saving Ace.
No, it's something else.
In making earthquakes.
Congratulations on knowing what Whitebeard's power is, but no, what was Whitebeard's big dream?
Oh, I know, his dream was to have a family.
Exactly, these two great pirates represent the themes of dream and family, and if you notice, all of these stories that we analyzed work with at least one of these two themes. Luffy's theme is the dream of getting One Piece. Zoro's theme is the dream of being the greatest swordsman of all. Nami's theme is her adoptive family. Usopp's theme is that he lies to make his mother happy. Sanji's theme is the dream of finding all blue. Chopper's theme is Hiriluk, who adopts him like a father. The theme of...
I have to go to the bathroom. I'll be back in a bit.
Keep going, Barack.
No, I messed up now. I was going to give a brilliant speech about the nature of One Piece and the great message that the work conveys, and this cuckold comes out to shit right now. I don't know whether to laugh or cry. Screw this. The video is over. There will be no sponsorship today. Everyone is going to hell, and God bless America.
But today I learned that morality is relative.